Morning, Maria. My Zoom screen is situated, so I can share it from my laptop.
Oh, yeah. I like that you share slides.
Yeah, it helps me stay on track, and I have to write everything down or else I forget
Yeah.
it, so it helps to.
I like that. It's funny because I still like do the whole pen and notepad.
Mhm.
And I used to take notes on my computer and stuff. Or like,
Mhm.
I remembered that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's some science behind that writing it down helps you remember it
Yeah.
more. Yeah,
I agree. I think so. I agree with like note taking on tablets and one that it doesn't do it for me.
yeah. Morning, Maria. Morning, Connie. Can y'all hear me okay on Zoom? Maybe. So it looks like I'm connected to the audio. Maria, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. So let me just make sure we're recording. Okay. Here comes Scott. Morning, Scott.
Morning.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so let's start with recent classes. I know a couple of y'all went to my social media class or Instagram class on Friday. I'd love to hear from anyone that attended any classes in the last week, what your biggest takeaway was, and maybe your action item or one thing from that, and any questions you have. So, Scott, did you have any questions following the Instagram class?
So you had mentioned that you set up a Facebook business page and that allows you to like pre-record and stuff. Is that correct? Or not pre-record, but assign things to go off on a certain day when you set up a business account?
Yes, you can schedule posts through your Facebook business account to auto post. I do that for Facebook, and then I also, you can also do, if you have your Facebook business page connected to your Instagram, you can share, you can schedule Instagram posts through the Facebook business page. However, for that, I use a third-party app, Planoly, just because I find it to be a little easier. There are different third-party apps. There's Planoly, Plan with 2 N's, PLANN, and then Later, that can let you schedule on Instagram for free. And then for LinkedIn, the app is Buffer that lets you schedule for free. So typically all of those third-party apps, they let you do some things for free and then they'll try to sell you on something. So
Right.
I think a limit to the number of posts you can schedule, and then they try to make you pay for it, but I don't pay for any of those. I just use the free version. So yeah, I did talk about that on Friday about how as you're getting more used to creating and posting content, it's helpful to schedule it ahead of time. So you're not having to drop everything during your day and try to remember to post. So,
Right. So you just schedule everything, or you try to pre-record a bunch of stuff and then schedule it to drop on a particular day.
yeah, and I do the caption and everything ahead of time. So there are some things, like you can't schedule stories ahead of time. You may be able to if you pay for those apps, but my stories are typically just more on the fly, like documenting my day. So I just kind of do those when I can. But for like the reels and for the posts you're making, yes, I would try to schedule them. And I will say with your Facebook personal page, you can't schedule any posts. However, what I would do in that situation is just schedule as much as I can. So say I would schedule the Facebook business post. And then if I wanted to share that to my personal page, I would just make a note to do that day. And then whether I get to it right when it goes live or hours later or a day after, I at least had it go up on one source. And I'll get to the, remaining tasks later. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? No, did you attend any other good classes last week, Scott?
I also attended, let's see, last week. I attended Bob's class right after.
The know before you go?
Know before you go. I didn't go on Saturday because it looked like it was gonna just kind of be a repeat of the same information from
Mhm.
Thursday, I think.
Yeah. Did anyone else go to either of Bob's classes last week?
I did.
Which one did you go to?
I went to Saturday's class.
Okay, how was it?
It was very informative about, improvement survey flags and improvement location certificates and just, how to be helpful to your buyer or your seller. Like if you,
Mhm.
give me an example, like if he pays for like a inspection of the sewer and just everything like that, and he said $500, it goes an extra care, and then he made a sale and made a pretty good commission out of it. So
Mhm.
even just, he gave us good information for sewer diagnostics, like people don't really do sewer line, something really informative,
Mhm.
inspection and stuff.
Yeah, that brings up a good point. You don't necessarily have to pay for the inspection or any inspection, however, you should at least always highly encourage them to get one. I've never had a client not get one, however, I've had a few of them not quite understand why they should get one. And when they're about to buy a home, maybe they're nervous about their down payment or things like that, so they almost want to cut that expense, even though it's not that expensive. However, in all those scenarios, I just talked to them about how it's important to know what you're walking into, what type of house you're buying, and any issues, whether they're major or minor. So, yes, I think that's always a great thing to focus on. Anyone else attend any good classes or have any takeaways or questions? No? Okay. So let's go through a few upcoming classes. So we have the team rally this Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's both in person and via Zoom. And then we have lending programs with CMG Home Loans on Wednesday as well from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. So join DEI, which is Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Community Leader Alexia, who is an agent in our office, and CMG, which that will be Mitch, who also works out of our office, as they discuss different programs that CMG has to offer. So if you want to learn more about the loan process or lending programs and what Mitch has to offer to your clients, is a great event to attend. And then lastly, this Saturday, I'll be teaching lead gen through social media, the power of video in real estate. So that will be Zoom only since it's a weekend from 9 to 11 a.m. So you can find all of these classes on the calendar and more classes. These are just a few that I picked out that I think would be great for y'all to attend based on what I've heard and questions I've heard from y'all. So any questions about these classes? No? Okay, so now does anyone have any wins from last week? I know one, I'm gonna go ahead and call on you, Connie. Connie did the paperwork for her first buyer. Connie, do you want to share a little bit of info about that?
Okay, well, I I don't know what you want me to share other than the fact that I was really struggling and frustrated and I think it got to him. I hope it got to him. I mean but that's it really that's about it. I don't know what else you want me to share about it. Other than I was frustrated and I think I got it figured out, but that doesn't mean I can do it again smoothly, but it's
Yeah.
baby steps.
Yeah, CTM can be a little clunky or at least hard to learn when you're getting started, so that's completely fine and understandable. And you also had the appointment with him. Do you want to share any thoughts you had from the buyer's appointment?
Oh my goodness. This is someone that I know anyway. And so really it was just pretty smooth. It was actually very enjoyable and just a lot of really just listening about what's going on in his life and making sure that I know that I know and understand where he is with things. And so actually it was a lot of fun. So that yeah, that's about it really, but I enjoyed it a lot. Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. And I do want to draw attention to the fact that you said you did a lot of listening, which is always great. When you go into these appointments, you really want to be asking a lot of questions and listening as much as possible to make them feel like they're valued and you care and that you're going to support them. So while you do bring the buyer consultation packet and go through some of that info, it's great to really try to ask, you know, several questions, pretty much every page you go through, just to keep them talking and participating. So yeah, sounds like that went really well. And of course, with CTM and the paperwork, you'll learn that more over time. I think what's more important is the appointment and that went well between y'all.
Well, yeah, and I think that through listening and kind of drawing him out on what's going on, which is all pertinent to what he's wanting to do. Potentially his dad may be wanting to sell his house, and I think that through him, knowing that I'm going to listen and I'm going to do my best and everything, that he's pretty likely to let his dad know that I might, that I would be someone to talk to. He's talking about his mom is in a holdover period with the house that she's selling and, may accept this one offer. But, and he's saying, wow, I wish that we would have known this before, that you're doing this. And if this offer doesn't go through in the holdover period with this other agent that mom didn't like, if that runs out, then then I'd like for mom to work with you and, some things like that. So I think that the personal touch and the listening and everything goes a really long way, and not in a manipulative sense, because I don't want you to think that I'm saying that like, hey, if you pretend to listen, people will trust you. I mean, it's really, that's the most enjoyable part, is feeling like, well, when we're talking about coming from a place of contribution, that truly from my heart, what I want to do is come from a place of contribution.
And you never know what a conversation or appointment will lead to. So I think I mentioned this to y'all before, never discount a lead or someone you come into contact with, because even if they are not in a position to buy or sell right now, or if it's maybe a lower priced home, you never know what that will lead to either in their life or with referrals that they give you. So I think it's great to always at least put someone on a smart plan if they're a lead, or just, give them your best, no matter what price point they're buying or selling in, and they can turn into a client for life and a really great referral source. So yeah, I think those are all great points, Connie. So awesome. Anyone else have any wins? It can be something small or big. Anything from this last couple weeks?
So I'm actually in contact with my sponsor for the event that I wanted to host for St. Patrick's Day on the 17th, and she just said that she will be able to sponsor all of my treats. So that's a small win.
Awesome. Yeah, that's super great. And that she's willing to pay for something, not just participate. Is she gonna be attending the event with you in person?
No, so she's unable to attend the event, but she asked if I could put like a little poster of her branding. And I was like, yeah, more than happy to, because you're helping me out. So I want to get you exposure as well.
Mhm. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Yeah, I remember that was one of the things you wanted to get done this week or last week. So that's great. Anyone else have anything to share? And then I have my notes written down from y'all's fun things last week. So I'll start with Scott. You mentioned you wanted to focus on the 411 a little bit and work on your time blocking, and then maybe think about coffee dates / client events. Did you get to work on those or think about them at all?
Yeah, so I mean, I have my 411 filled out. Now it's just a matter of making sure I execute it daily. And then I just need to follow up with a lunch date for tomorrow afternoon to see how that goes. Just to make sure we're still on for that for tomorrow.
Is that someone in your sphere that you're having lunch with?
Yeah.
Okay, great, okay, and then let's see. Evelyn, other than the sponsor, you had post your first YouTube video and little clips for Instagram, and then focus on email, smart plans, and Facebook birthdays. Did you get to work on any of those?
Yes, I actually think I touched base on all of them except the emails. I did sign up 2 new people on smart plans for the biweekly neighborhood watch. I did put my first YouTube video out, currently working on editing that second one for this week. We did the sponsor thing, and yeah, I think it was a really productive week overall.
Awesome, yeah, and then Evan, yours was add more contacts to command, and then emails and birthdays also.
So I did look at emails, I did look at upcoming birthdays on my Facebook, and I did add 25 more contacts to my friend.
Oh, awesome, yeah.
Which still doesn't give you a lot in there, but hey, it's 25 more.
Yeah, that's better than 0.
And I did add a few more people to like my social media platform. Follow more people.
Awesome, yeah.
Still be working on that.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to bring this up because someone brought this up to me last week. So as you're adding people to come in and putting them on smart plans, what you can do to try to maybe test everything out and see exactly what it shows up as is add yourself as a contact. I just added my personal email and all of that info, and then I tagged myself, all of my tags, and I added myself to all my smart plans, so I can see what those emails look like and when they're coming out as a sort of reminder. So as you're adding people, if you're nervous about putting people on a smart plan, definitely add yourself first, see how it goes, and then you can start to add people. And then Connie, you weren't here last week, but I know you held that open house Saturday. How did that go?
It was so much busier than the ones that I had done previously. And it was probably a combination of the house itself and where it is and who was drawn to it. And also, I guess, the changing season. And so I think we had about 17 people sign in as coming through in those 2 hours. But those were all families. I mean, there was not one that was just a single person. So it was kind of like a party. It was pretty fun. The last young couple that came through was fun because I always comment on sports teams that they are wearing and stuff, and bring up that I went to KU and stuff. And it just happened that the husband when I said I was from Salina, Kansas, and he's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, I'm not really, why? And he's like, oh, my dad went there. Anyway, his dad graduated the same year I did, but from our crosstown rival high school. And so it was kind of fun. So actually that's a follow-up that's easy for me to say, hey, it was so great to meet you, and tell your dad hi, although I didn't recognize the name. But anyhow, so that was really fun. And the only reason I brought that up is because, once again, you really never know what part of the conversation is going to initiate that connection. And if I hadn't said something about that they were wearing CU Buffalo stuff, and hey, I'm a Jayhawk, I'm from Kansas, his dad's from Salina, blah, 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 we would have never known.
Mhm. Yeah, and it is sometimes personal things that get people to connect with you more. So yeah, that's quite a lot of attendees, and it's funny when people start to bring families and kids to open house, it can get a little hectic, but it definitely increases the energy and makes for a good environment. So did anyone else hold any open houses this week? I don't think I saw anyone else on the list. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so let's move into our lead gen focus. So in the resources folder in the Google Drive under playbooks, we have all of these playbooks that we received from a family reunion. So we'll be going through some of these, but you're also welcome to come and just pull one on your own if you're interested in, for example, social media seminars or open houses. So we're going to start with the KW codebook, which was the main one they gave us. Has anyone else received this already? I think Charles emailed this out to everyone. Anyone? Evelyn's saying yes. Has anyone looked through this yet? No? Okay, so it's a lot of info, so we're not going to go through all of it today. I just wanted to show you all the format. So this is the first page, just talking about what the codebook is. And then they also, they talked about this at family reunion, however, how they really broke down our job into what we do, which is grow the business and run the business. So for example, with grow the business, all of y'all have 2 to 3 lead gen methods that you're focusing on. And this is just a list of more methods. And then when it comes to running the business, this is a list of things that you can make sure that you're learning as you start here. So for example, GPS we do together, 411, we just had a class on that. So if you weren't able to attend that class, you can ask Elizabeth for the recording and just make sure you're learning all of these things. Any questions about growing versus running the business?
What class is that? I'm sorry.
Sue just taught a class
Oh,
on the, didn't you attend that?
yeah, I was looking at the template right now. Yeah.
Okay. And then, so they break it down even further, and essentially this code book is telling you how to do these things through commands. So it's tutorials. So for example, the first thing they listed was making calls. So they break it down from how to do that in command. So this code book is essentially a tutorial on how to do these activities through command and how to leverage them. So let me scroll down. So it's a very long packet, so I would definitely look at the table of contents and just pull what you need, but let me get to the very. And then the very bottom goes into team stuff, which is not relevant to y'all, but let's go back up to the table of contents. Okay, does anyone not know how to do any of these? We can go to the specific page and then walk you through it with commands. So let me see. Maybe send email or track and log interactions. Do any of those stand out to y'all that you want to go through?
Just an email if that's cool.
Send email?
Since that was on my goal list.
Okay, do you want to do single or bulk?
A bulk.
Okay, so let's go to 7. Okay. So Command provides agents up to 5,000 emails monthly with the option to upgrade it. I have never come close to exceeding that, and you probably won't either, so you'll likely never have to pay for that, but that is an option. So you can send them in bulk through an email campaign or smart plan. So email campaigns can use existing templates or custom templates that you create in designs. And you can choose to send it immediately or schedule for the future. And then your email list can be created and saved by contact tags in your database. So did everyone receive the email I sent yesterday with the reminder of what we're of this meeting? Did everyone receive that? So I did that through Command following this format. So let's go to Command, and if y'all want to follow along with me to learn, you can, but I'll show you on my screen, so 1 second. Okay, so under campaigns and under emails, you can send bulk emails. You can also set up a smart plan and do it through that. However, when I'm doing a one-off email, I typically just do it through campaigns. So you can see the email I sent yesterday, sent to 12 people, 9 people opened it. And so now let's go to designs. Oops. So I created a design for the one-on-one coaching emails, the group coaching, and then I also had created one recently for the Instagram class on Friday. So you can either import a design or create one. So let's go through and just create a basic one. So you can create from scratch, start from blank, or you can use a template. So let me. Evan, since you picked this, is there one of these you want to pick?
How about like since spring's around the corner, happy spring.
Okay, so I selected that and then I'll click next. And move the Zoom bar down really quick. Is everyone on Zoom following what I'm doing so far? Okay. So this looks great. So anytime you see like the star and then the text, that is going to auto replace. So it's going to replace the contact first name. So for example, with Evelyn, it would say, looking forward to chatting soon, Evelyn, and then it would say, take care, Brea. So within your command, it'll update it automatically. And then all of these stars will update as well. The only thing that looks like it's missing is the Market Center logo. It should be showing the logo, which I'm not quite sure why it's doing that. But this is a great email already pre-made, so it's a great touch to send out to your database. Any questions about this screen? No? Okay, so there's nothing I want to change on that, so I'm just going to click save. And then X out of it, and it makes me save again. And then I'm going to go back to campaigns. And then I'm going to click the plus button at the very bottom. Oh wait, whoops. I meant to go to emails. And then, oh, it's the same thing. And okay, so I'm going to press the plus button at the very bottom and then email. And then I'll enter test. My goal is to create brand awareness. It's going to go through command email, and then I'm going to click create campaign. And then you can select the recipient list. So I have a test one already created, which my personal email is added to. However, as it mentioned on the playbook, you can create email lists by using tags in your database. So you could have the email go out to everyone in your database, or you could segment the list. Maybe you have potential buyers or potential sellers. So you could segment the list and send it to only one tag. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, is everyone still following what I'm going through? Okay. So enter subject, I'm just gonna put happy spring, and then I'll click select design. Select the one I just created, and then it lets me edit it again if I want to, so I'm just gonna click save. X out. And then now you can see the design populated on the right side. Oh, and now the logo is showing up, and it's my old Market Center logo, so I need to make sure I update that. And as you can see, all of the information filled out based on my info, except for the contact first name. Since I'm going to be sending this to a list of contacts, or a tag, it just shows up as contact first name until you actually send it. So that all looks good. And then you can either save it as a draft, schedule it, or send it. So here's what scheduling looks like. You can pick the day and time. So that email I sent to y'all yesterday, I created, I think Thursday maybe, and then I just scheduled it to go out Sunday. So like we discussed earlier about scheduling out social media content, it's great to, when you're doing one-off emails, schedule them ahead of time as well. Of course, if you add them to a smart plan, those emails will already be scheduled and go out automatically. But if you're doing a one-off email, you can also schedule them. So any questions about scheduling or sending?
No, well, yes, I guess. I know like with the text messaging, we need like an external app called Twilio or something like that. Do we need anything else aside from just our command email for this?
For emails or for text?
Just for emails, because I know for text, we have to have that Twilio to do a mass text automatically. So just the email.
No, for emails, no. All you need is command and your KW email. And then when it comes to texting, if you're doing it automatically, yes, you would have to purchase Twilio. However, if you're wanting to do it manually, you could still set it up as a smart plan, and instead of auto sending the text, it would just send you a reminder or a text. So you can still use smart plans to leverage text messages in that way.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions? Okay, so let me send this. So it just shows me everything one last time, and it tells me who I'm sending it to. So I'm just sending it to my personal email. So let's give it a few seconds. Oh, that was fast. Okay. So here it arrived. Happy spring. One thing to note, it does show up as not your KW email since you're sending it through command. However, if they respond to this email, so actually I'll do that in a second. So here's the email, and then I'm going to do a test response. And then let's go back to command and refresh. And as you can see, I just got one more notification. And oops, 1 second, let me refresh again. It should show up. There might be a slight delay, but it did let me know that it was sent. I'm refreshing this. We may have to give it a few seconds. But when you do respond to it, or when anyone responds to it, you'll get a notification in command. And sometimes if you have the settings correct, it'll forward to your KW email as well. So when people respond to this, it's not like it's getting lost somewhere. You're still going to get that notification. So does anyone have any questions about this? No. Has anyone done anything with campaigns yet?
No.
Okay.
Well, wait, I've done where I created like a social media ad, not ad, but well, I guess kind of like a design that's on command, and then I share it, send it to like post it on my Facebook later on.
Yeah, you can do that through here as well. And actually that brings up a good point. I didn't mention that earlier. You can schedule some social media posts through command. So as you can see, you could create and schedule them. So emails is typically what I use if I am not setting them up on a multiple step smart plan. So And here we go. So here the test response was forwarded to my email. And then it should show up. There we go. So command email reply from Brea Bone, and then it just lets me know that it was forwarded to me at Brea at my KW email. And then you can also see it in within the specific contact under the timeline. So there was a slight delay, maybe a minute delay, but you know, that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So any questions about this? No, does anyone want to walk through any of the other things?
Actually, yes. Over the weekend, I tried creating a social media post on the design tab. Going through like the steps of the home buying process to kind of prepare people for my next video, but I couldn't find a template and I was scared to kind of do a blank one. So would you mind maybe going over something like that?
Mhm. Yeah, so you're wanting, let me find that on here first. Let's see, okay, so was it post to social media for free, number 19?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go down to that one. Okay, so you went through the process, you were trying to create it and you couldn't find a template, is that what happened?
Correct.
Okay. So let's go to designs. So you did social. See, sometimes it takes a second to load. Okay. Okay, so you can create one from scratch, however, it doesn't hurt to start from some sort of template. So let's see, maybe under lead gen, under expert advice. This is mainly market info, but you could edit these ones, at least to start. In the future, it may be faster for you to create from scratch, or you can have one template kind of created and saved that you can customize for each one, but we could start with one of these. Let's look through all of these. Did you go through all of these on your own?
Yes, I specifically had looked under that first tab you had pulled down, that lead generation. I tried the very first one on the list. Like I tried all of them. I couldn't find one to my liking.
Yeah, so let's, whoops. I'm just gonna select one just to show you, so, this one, I like how they have it, whoops. Laid out with the 3 different lines, so if you're replacing, educational info, like steps, you could put them in a row like that, so. What was the topic of yours again?
The home buying process.
Okay. So you can go through and replace the text. All you do is click on it and then it lets you change it. You can also change the font, for example, the size and other aspects of it. And then, oops. So I would probably just delete these big ones and then I would expand here, like, find an agent. I'm just kind of making this up, and then I would replace each of these. So I'm not maybe in love with this, so that's why I mentioned maybe creating one from scratch might be easier, but as you're getting started, you can, and they typically, the templates let you edit a lot of things, but not all. So as you can see, it's not letting me edit this line. Oh wait, yes it is. Okay, so I even could delete that line if I wanted to. Or I might put a text box above this that says 1, 2, and 3 to kind of show that there are 3 steps. So how do you feel about this template looking at it again?
So I definitely think I'm gonna opt in for creating my own because I wanted to create more of like similar cover to the book, Your First Home. So I wanted to kind of do like the squiggle lines that kind of like, because I also wanted to represent that buying a home is not linear, but I wanted to use that as leverage to show like clients, I'll get you through it, you know, through the ups and downs.
Okay. So I went back just to show you how to do it from scratch. So I clicked start from blank, social square. And here's a blank template. So and it does give you templates that you could then add, but if you're just wanting to start from scratch, then I would just start by adding text, maybe adding images. You could add a stock one of a house, or you could go, oh wait, whoops. Oh no, it's trying to make me pay. So you can find free stock images on Google. So I would maybe go find one there. And if you're doing it based on Your First Home book, I would maybe find an image of that, or you could even take one yourself and then upload it here. So does that help? I'm not sure.
Yes.
I answered your question. Okay. Do you have any questions about creating from scratch that we can go through?
No, I think it's just an advanced Canva because I use Canva for everything. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to always look through the command templates first, since those are pre-made and they do have a lot. However, in this case, if you have more of a specific idea, you could create from scratch, or you could kind of try to combine a few templates. So yes, yeah. Any other questions about that? No? Okay. Any other questions about command from anyone?
Where'd you get those templates? I got lost. I'm on my command. Is it in campaigns?
It's in design.
Oh, yeah. How come mine doesn't pull up all these comments?
You have to go to create design.
Oh, I see. Oh.
And then
Yeah,
professional, and then you can pull them up.
I have a copy.
Okay, and then,
Like, you've done this before, like, I swear I have been.
yeah, awesome. Okay, any other questions about the KW code book? No,
That's
okay.
an awesome book.
So, yeah, it is a really great book, and anytime you're trying to learn something on command, you could go there first. However, you can also ask me or Chris, the tech trainer, to help walk you through those. And he does have command classes every week that you can come to with questions. So now I just wanted to touch on the mortgage hacks playbook. Has anyone had a chance to read through this one yet? Nope, okay. So here's just some information to start, and then they give you steps for thriving in the mortgage market of the moment. So the first one is understand the market of the moment, understand the opportunities and limitations of the current market. So for example, interest rates could be a limitation for some people, like first-time home buyers. However, it could be an opportunity for someone paying cash, like an investor. Or maybe it's someone who is able to afford the higher rate and yet they plan to refinance at a later date. So it's always important to understand the opportunities and limitations based on a specific group of people or type of person. So you can, for example, like when Connie went to her meeting with her buyer client, who is, I wanted to say, you said he was a first-time home buyer. The conversation may be more geared toward addressing the interest rate and things like that. So any questions about these steps? And then they break them down further. And then step 3, I think, is especially important. It goes through mortgage product hacks. So if you have any questions about these, I would schedule a meeting with Mitch. He talks about these on Coffee Talk and just when he attends other classes. But if you want to sit down with him and go through these more in depth, I think that's a great idea. Also, the 8th one listed, home buyer assistance programs. That's that class I was referencing that's coming up Wednesday, where he's going to go through some of the programs. So it's a great idea to do that with Mitch. And if you have another lender you're going to work with, or maybe just you want to have 2 names to give people, it's great to know what they're offering. And I will say you're not expected to know every single detail. Buyers or even sellers will sometimes ask you loan related questions. And if you don't know the answer, you can just say, I'm not sure since I'm not a lender. However, I have a great lender, Mitch, who I would love to connect you with. And then you could go through that process. Or you could also just say, I have a great lender, Mitch, who I would love to ask that question and get back to you later. And every time I've done that, they've been completely okay with that. They usually apologize for asking me all these loan related questions. They just don't know who to ask. So they're just asking me so that I can help them. So you're not, like I said, you're not expected to know all the details. And I would rather you be the source of the source versus giving information about something you don't truly understand. And then maybe it's accidentally the wrong information and you end up letting down your client. So does that make sense to everyone? Okay. And then this packet does break it down a little further. However, like I said, it doesn't hurt to schedule a meeting with Mitch or your lender to make sure you really understand these. But this is great information to at least start with. And you could even like pull this page from the packet and send it to your client directly. Just goes through all of these. And then it talks about hacks for people who already own a home. And then it breaks those down further. And then it talks about the importance of being in contact with your lender.
And that's a packet that Charles sent us.
Yes, yeah, he sent it, but you can also find it in the KW coaching resources folder that I have under playbooks, under mortgage hacks. Yeah, any other questions? And then it goes through some case studies as well. These are great to look at just to compare and further understand the numbers. However, like I said, you're not expected to know every little detail of this. However, this packet or this playbook is really great and it can help you become more confident with loan related questions or just working with buyers in general. So any questions about these playbooks? Let me stop my screen. Anyone? And another thing I wanted to bring up with the mortgage hacks playbook, that is great information you could pull and turn into an email or a social media post or any of your lead generation activities. For those who are holding open houses, you could take one of the pages and print it out and bring it with you and either give it to people or just reference it during the open house. So all of these resources and knowledge we're providing you with is, first of all, so you can become more knowledgeable and more confident, but also so you can in turn push this information out to your potential clients and position yourself as the expert. So you don't need to know every little detail. You can learn as you're creating emails or doing other lead gen activities. And like I said, it'll position you as the expert and just help you stay in front of people and get more and better results from your activities. So does everyone at least somewhat understand what I went through today with Command? I know it's kind of hard when it's via Zoom. Everyone, okay, does anyone have any questions about Command? Connie is laughing because She's still trying to learn command. At least I think that's why you're laughing. It's definitely a work in progress.
I'm laughing because there's so much to command and people who, know command pretty well. Anyway, it sounds like there's always something more to learn. And so, yeah, I'm laughing because it's like, do you have any other questions about command? It's like, nope, no questions. It's like, right. Anyway, that's all. You're right.
Yeah, there is always something new to learn. Keller Williams is, I mean, they've been developing that since they first launched it, so there's always gonna be something to learn, and that's why we try to have classes and those meetings with Chris as well. And you don't need to know it all, you just need to know what you're trying to use. So for those of y'all who are just starting out, I would start by adding contacts, making sure you're getting them added with all the info you have and tags if you're creating tags. And then I would also put yourself on some test smart plans or just start testing things out so you can kind of learn what it looks like. And like I showed y'all today, you can send it to yourself and see exactly what it looks like before you push it out to other people. So any questions about the code books / playbooks? No, we'll continue to go through those. We'll continue to go through those in the next few weeks just to make sure y'all understand them and can implement them. Keller Williams does release a lot of really helpful info and resources, and we want to help y'all break that down and get into action. So, and then lastly, I wanted to go through our one thing for this week. So I'd love for each person to share their one thing, either that they learned from today or just a continuation of their lead gen activities that they want to try to get done or focus on this next week. So Maria, do you want to go first? You're muted, Maria.
Can you repeat that one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, what's your one thing or main focus for this next week that you want to try to get done?
I'm having a few meetings with a couple lenders just to know my options, because I know there's a lot of programs out there I don't really know about since I'm fairly new. And then I just have a few meetings with, I wanted to talk to some builders that I got into contact with. So hopefully I can do all that this week, but it seems like I never have enough time.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's a feeling people often have. So, and if you're able to attend that event that Alexia's putting on with Mitch, a great one to go to with the programs. Awesome. And then Connie, what's your one thing?
I still haven't gotten out in the neighborhood to talk about doing our neighborhood directory, which you've been hearing about, Brea, since I met you. And so anyway, I'm feeling like I really need to do that, because I'm finding out just the small contacts that don't look like they really amount to anything can really amount to a lot. I also have another friend that I'm going to meet with for coffee and give him a book, and he's talked about potentially wanting to sell his home. And so just scheduling that and just following up with some of those personal touches.
Awesome. Yeah, every little touch matters and you never know what will come from that. So that's great. Scott, what's your one thing?
So I'm gonna work on, so I got registered on the do not call list. So I'm gonna try to work on some of the phone numbers of some of the vacant houses that I know of in the area. And just reach out to those people and see if they have a need of my services, since I know that those homes are vacant and I don't know what their plan is.
And those are all people in your neighborhood, correct?
Correct. There's probably 4 or 5 that I know of that at least appear as if they're vacant. And I just don't really know what the deal is. So I guess I'm gonna go investigate and see where that takes me.
Mhm. Yeah, you never know. One of them might be just trying to figure out their options, and the conversation you have could either help them decide or just help them move along on their journey. So I think that's great. Evelyn, what's your one thing?
I think the biggest part for me this week would be to construct that social media post. And I'll post that hopefully this Wednesday, so that I can prepare the video for next week and just kind of use that as like a, hey guys, like this is going to be my next video. Keep an eye out for it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. And yeah, I know it's kind of hard sometimes. I would try not to get lost in the graphic design aspect of it. And just maybe try to create a basic template that you can use moving forward for all of your educational posts. And let me know if you need help with the graphic design aspect as you're creating things. So yeah, it definitely helps to just get one template done and use it moving forward.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then Evan, what's your one thing for this week?
Well, I think I know I can send emails. I need to reach out to my contacts, actually get emails, because I was looking at it, I only have a select few emails. I have more phone numbers than I have emails. So definitely collect more emails. And I kind of want to review that playbook a little more. And that way I can, I like the idea of sending out the bulk emails, like even for spring or like St. Patrick's Day coming up, just stuff like that. So definitely collect more emails.
Yeah, that's okay. And you can put the people you already have on smart plans in the meantime, or send emails, and just as you'll always add more people to command and get more contact info. So you can just go ahead and get started. And yeah, I think that's a great reason to reach out to them and touch base and get their email.
Cool.
So awesome. Okay. Any final questions or thoughts from today before I let y'all go? No? Does everyone feel like they learned something and have an action item they can work on? Yes? Okay, sounds good. Okay, it was great to see all of y'all. I hope to see y'all Saturday for the class, if not sooner. I hope y'all all have a great rest of your Monday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bria. Have a good one.